Hi, this is my reflections video for Module 6. This week was all about the Google Fundamentals training site. I don't know that I'm completely sold on this whole Google thing, but I do think it's pretty cool that they were willing to put this together for free. There's not a lot of money in doing something for free, and especially not something that's about education. And I think it's pretty cool that Google's, they're a company that's so well known, and of course they make a ton of money, but I still think it's pretty neat that they were willing to put this all together. However, I think it's a lot of stuff, and we only had to go through modules 3 and 4, and I can't imagine what it would be like if you were to go through all of the modules. It's a lot. I feel a little overwhelmed with everything that I looked at, and I'm going to try to remember everything. I made some notes, but hopefully I can fit it all in without taking too much time. So the first question says, what were your thoughts after going through units 3 and 4 from the Google Fundamental Training? Well, I just explained that, so let's go to the next. Describe what you learned. Well, I had actually used Google Docs before because I had a court case and I had a lot of paperwork that I had to not only share, but I had to keep it straight, keep it organized. So I was able to use Google Docs to do that. Most of the time I was just scanning things in and then uploading it to Google Docs, or I think that was, or somebody else would be scanning it in and then sharing it with me. There was a few times when I'd taken things that were already on my hard drive and put them on Google Docs. Oh, sorry, Google Drive. I'm saying this wrong. But I'd never created anything in Google Drive, and so it was kind of interesting to me to get in there and play around. I can't say their spreadsheets I thought were kind of not as well put together, or maybe I just don't know them as much as I know Excel, and I know where everything is in Excel, and so I really prefer Excel. I had a job once where I had to use spreadsheets that were from not Excel, and I didn't know, and I was trying to see if I could remember if that was the same as the ones they had, but I couldn't remember. But I wasn't too pleased with them. I was trying to just do something as simple as resize some font, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And so in that kind of case, I would probably just default back to the one that I know the most. And I feel like Excel is a really good program, and I already have it, so I would probably just use that rather than try to learn this other one. However, I did get into their docs, their Google Docs, and make one in there. I think it's fine. I didn't have any problems with it. I haven't played with it enough to probably know whether I like it better than Word. But one thing that I really liked, because I'm a geek, I like fonts, and Word doesn't have like really cool fonts, and I'm too chicken to download something in case I get a virus. But on the Google Drive, you can get in there, and there's like a ton of like hidden fonts that you can just activate, and then they're active in the program, and they were really, really neat. And there was probably 500 or more fonts in there, and I hadn't even selected even just a small portion of them, and there was a lot of neat ones in there. And then the other thing is that I was thinking as I was messing around with it, I wish that I had known about Google Drive years ago, because when I was first an online student, I had accidentally erased a report that I was writing, and it was due that night, and I was freaking out because I was just about finished with it, and I don't even know how I did it. I've never accidentally erased anything in my life, and I would only do it when it was like really, really important. So I looked and looked and looked, and I had just completely deleted the thing somehow. And Google Drive would save it, would have saved that for me, and I wouldn't have had to rewrite the whole thing. So I'm actually considering just writing my reports right in Google Drive. We'll have to see, because I don't know the features on it that well. So hopefully it would be similar enough to Word that I wouldn't have any problem doing that. I did get into the I was going to say PowerPoint. It's not PowerPoint. Presentation thing that they had in Google Drive, and messed around with that. It was kind of fun to see because I'm kind of bored with all of the backgrounds that are in PowerPoint. So it was neat to see new backgrounds, but actually I think that they had less than PowerPoint has as far as backgrounds go. And the other thing that I just figured out about PowerPoint not that long ago is that they have a design feature, so you can change the, like you can select a background, but then you can change all the colors and fonts and stuff, and it's pretty cool, pretty easy to use. And I didn't see that feature in Google Drive, so I don't know if I'd probably go back to PowerPoint anyway. The thing that I did really like about it is that you can access it anywhere, so that's pretty handy. And that you can put your pictures in, which I didn't know that before. So that's pretty neat. And then, you know, the whole thing about the classroom, having your classroom online, I'm not against it, I guess. I just would think that it would be really weird for, you know, a single teacher to choose that. Probably it would have to be something decided by the school, or maybe a whole grade level would decide they're all gonna do that together. I would probably not use it unless it was a group thing that either the whole school or at least a good portion were going to use it together. Excuse me. As far as the Gmail stuff, I've had Gmail for a long time. I enjoy Gmail. I like that it's already got some features in it that are really good at sorting out your junk mail. And also I like to use the calendars. I've even used the chat feature in it, which I've always just called it the chat feature. I didn't know that it had another name. And I've even used the camera thing within the chat feature, and I've done it in groups and done it just one-on-one. So it's pretty cool. It's just, there's so much stuff to learn. Unless you have hours and hours and hours to sit there and think about how can I like take this new technology and work it into my already existing framework of ideas. You're not going to think of that when the time comes and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I could have used this feature, because there's so many features to the thing that it just kind of slips your mind when you need it. So it would be really difficult for me to work that in to my everyday life. Do I think that having certification would make me more marketable as a future job applicant? Possibly. I've never actually heard of anybody doing this Google education thing, the certifications. I've never seen it on, you know, somebody's resume. I've never, you know, and I've kind of Googled resumes before and just looked at images of resumes just to get an idea of, oh, you know, what kinds of things could I put on my resume, like just to kind of refresh my memory. Oh, well, right, so Microsoft Office is something that's really marketable, and I know Microsoft Office, I'll put it down. Or this is really marketable, and I have that skill, I put that down. Not that I'm just to give myself an idea of how things are worded or whatever. And I've never ever seen that term on anything to say that, you know, anybody wanted a Google certification. But, you know, that's not to say that in the future it won't become something that's very popular and something that employers want in an employee. And if that's the case, then definitely I'd start going through the certification. I think it'd be nice if, I guess I wasn't really thrilled about the modules. I guess I think they could have been a little bit better done, a little bit better, more hands-on type of thing. A couple of them were sort of, but then I was a little confused as to what they wanted me to do. The one that was talking about surveys that one was a little strange because I don't have a lot of survey uses, but maybe I would as a teacher. But then there was another one that was showing a test, only it wanted me to answer these questions that clearly I didn't have the answers to, so it wouldn't let me go on, and I was kind of like, well, yeah, but I don't know about World War I. So I kind of wish that they would have it be a little bit easier. Anyways, it was good to learn. Thanks.